Do you know who their people were? Why is it kept like you because I had no that's why I thought it was with that's all right, no problem. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, so if you remember that, that's pretty cool. Kira Smith plays here as well, which is why I played it. Yes. So a few of them were down to the Melbourne places. Yes. So what it is, they've got a few players in the Well, we moved up from Victoria. Anyway, good job. See you tomorrow.
I just put an apology on the group chat. So. Yeah, I think I jumped at a shadow before. So.
What are you on? Is that you on here?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, this is the commentary box.
Oh.
Yes, well, in fact, you're on air now. Because seriously.
What, on WhatsApp?
Okay, I'm Daniel Viles on WhatsApp. But if you watch the YouTube stream,
right,
then and anyone watching the YouTube stream now can currently hear Tom and Daniel having a chat because the microphone's just there live. So there's probably about 12 people going, oh, you know, getting inside gossip here.
And where they come from?
No idea. Never met him.
I think they're in Melbourne, I think.
Okay, sure. Oh, possibly the person from Frogbox.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
So, but no, I haven't met that person. But
Thanks for a great commentary.
oh, you're welcome.
It was really entertaining. Do you do it somewhere? Are you on the ABC or anything
I
like that?
have been.
Okay, that's where I've known you boys.
Gotcha.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Yeah, how many
Oh,
fans you
right.
got, Tom?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So,
instantly. I know who your dad is, but I figure you're Tom. You don't need to be constantly reminded of everything. So
no, that's all.
just so you know, I'm careful with the
No, all right. Do you want to move into here for the last game or something? Or do you even come back a little bit? Or?
It might be nice actually, because I mean, I'm what's the word, right? So sure. Let me. What I do? I don't mind sitting in the dirt. That's okay. If you've got things to do, I can set that camera, but if you want to do it while you're here, that's equally
No,
fine.
it's all good. It's all
Sure.
set anyway. So,
As long as it's pointing at the pitch, then we're pretty right. But yes, my love for cricket outstrips my ability, so I talk about it.
yeah, that looks fine.
Cool.
Happy days.
Thanks for your work.
No worries. I found a charger anyway, so
Good. So,
yeah, I got the Redlands one, so we'll be right overnight.
and what we might do tomorrow, just to make sure nothing cuts out, maybe at the, because we've got two semis at the final, maybe just at the change fittings of the middle game, we just change it over there. And then does that sound all right?
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that.
Cool.
That'll be sweet. I think it's just the women's here. So it's just the one ground.
Even easier. Great. Cool.
Just the one ground? Yeah.
We can even get the later.
No, because only in the draw it's got one ground, Thursday, fourth, Thursday.
Exactly. So cool.
So there's got to be 3 games there somewhere.
And they're all here. So the women's under 19, they're all here. I guess all I was thinking is perhaps they decided to, for example, play the boys under 12s.
No. I think it's got only the 19 up here.
No further questions. Thanks, Tom. Audio test. Okay, hello everyone. Now, this is the Brisbane Premier League, brought to you by Mazda, Peterborough Oval, Wellington Point. But at the moment all you can see is a black screen with a couple of paw prints on it. And the reason is this match had to be delayed. The Gold Coast Waveriders were involved in a match on another field, and my understanding is that that finished a little bit late. So, in fairness to them, they've been allowed a little bit of extra time to warm up. So, Nick, thank you for your comment. I appreciate that. And yeah, the reason there's no video is that there's no match. The Waveriders are currently gathering at the gate. The Power will bat first. I'll go through teams in a moment, but as soon as the scorers open up the match and begin scoring, the video will click into gear and you will see life here at the Peterborough Oval in Wellington. So fret not. My name is Daniel Lyles. Thoroughly enjoying the Under-19 women's competition as part of the Mazda Brisbane Premier League. In this match, I had a coach sneak up to me before and said a place in the finals is at stake. I actually thought at the beginning of the day, I haven't caught up with today's scores and other grounds, that this may in fact be a match between two teams that had already qualified for the finals. But I will attempt to go through. Unfortunately, the points table isn't there as a points table on the BPL app or the website or even on My Cricket. But you know, if you're my kind of stats nerd, you may wish to just calculate your own points table by looking through at all the results. There's been one tie. The bonus point situation appears to be you only get it if you have 1.25 of your opponent's run rate and bowl the opposition out. And I apologise for not knowing that before now. The Power will be batting. My understanding is they won the toss, but regardless of who won the toss, the Western Power will bat first. So again, players are only just walking out onto the ground. And we have video. You can now see a cricket pitch. In fact, I might just adjust the camera so that the pitch is a little bit closer to the middle of the screen. But the Western Power side on your screens now, captained by Annie Wickman, who is also the captain of Western Suburbs. Emma Jackson, a bit of a star, 19 years old, opening batter for UQ. Wickman will take strike for the first delivery. She's in the number 12 shirt. And alongside her, Emma Jackson at the far end in number 10, left-hander. Potentially, this is a very good opening partnership. However, the fireworks coming at them will be delivered in very rapid fashion. We've got two left-armers, Julia Kavanagh and Trinity Doyle. Kavanagh's probably the faster of the two, but they both bowl quite rapidly. And then in between, we've got Meg Metham from the Sandgate Redcliffe Club, who also opens the batting for her school. But it will be Julia Kavanagh to open the bowling, who's also the captain of the Waveriders. And she'll be opening the bowling from the railway end. Before today, the Waveriders had a win over the Pirates off the second last ball. They lost to the Marlins, and then yesterday defeated the Magic, and then the Rockets in a run chase which looked to derail a few times, but in the end was quite comfortable. The Power lost to the Rockets, defeated the Magic, tied with the Dingoes, and then defeated the Marlins. If you have a look at BrisbanePremierLeague.com or the app, you'll find out how they did earlier today. I'll try to do that in between deliveries, but I multitask about as well as a toaster. Earlier today, the Waveriders have just finished playing the Kings over on the second field here, Fred Kratzmann Oval. And the Power also played against the Kings this morning on Kratzmann Oval. The Julia Kavanagh power play, two fielders back, deep fine leg, deep third. The gloves for the Gold Coast taken by Michaela Wrigley, also a key batter for the Waveriders. Straight on the money is Julia Kavanagh. Full. And I'll say straight because it ended up on middle stump, but it did look to tail in towards Wickman. Wickman, the captain of Western Suburbs, given that last year at the age of 19, even with people like Grace Harris and Holly Furling in the side, the coaches in their wisdom, and I don't mean that ironically at all, decided that they needed to pick a captain who would be there even when the rep players were away and to give her experience when the rep players were there. So Wickman got the gig and from my observation looked to be quite calm under pressure. Lofted down the ground. Caught! Wickman out second ball. The Waveriders have struck early. It was a half volley, maybe slightly fuller than a half volley, but not quite a Yorker. Wickman looked to get onto the front foot straight away, but only got it as far as mid-off. And Wickman is disappointed. It's one down for none. Julia Kavanagh has struck straight away. I observed yesterday that Kavanagh's pace had notably increased since last season. And she's starting to trouble a lot more cricketers now. Wickman is gone. The new bat is Megan McCartney, who'll be hoping for better luck today than she had on Marchant Park number 10 yesterday when she was out LBW, and she was out, but the ball bounced about 2/3 of the way down the pitch and then rose about 5 centimetres thereafter. But Megan McCartney has played for Valleys while she's been down here, but it's mainly from Mackay. And an extraordinary start for the Waveriders as Julia Kavanagh strikes 2 balls in. McCartney squeezes that to leg, wasn't in control, but will get one behind square. So left-hander on strike. Emma Jackson's been striking them pretty well both in this tournament and in grade cricket. The best innings this week, on Monday in the afternoon, played against the Moreton Magic. We've just seen win 2 games on this oval. Scored 83 off 52. Julia Kavanagh. This is a top grade battle. Kavanagh v Jackson. Angled in, swing across the line, umpire not interested. Height was not a problem. And Kavanagh on top early. It's very vocal off-field support available to the Waveriders players. They do like to get behind their team. The live chat is open. Anything you'd like to say, keep it respectful, but otherwise. Hit across the line. And for the left-hander, they put a deep square leg, who fielded that delivery, and the deep fine leg. The third was kept short. Changes now. The square leg for the left-hander, deep square leg for the left-hander, becomes a regulation point for the right. The short third becomes a deep fine. And the deep fine leg stays as a short third, deep third. So McCartney plays in front of her leg. Superb start from Kavanagh, 1 for 2 at the end of the first over. The call was welcome to the wicket takers. I have a feeling that Kavanagh has been bowling well without luck this week. Her runs per over was minuscule, but hadn't actually struck the wicket takers column yet. And again, I wasn't aware of the result of the earlier game involving the Waveriders against the Kings. If she didn't take a wicket there either, then that is an overdue reward for Julia Kavanagh. Meg met him. Right arm fast from the clubhouse end. Do everything fast, the Waveriders. Bat, bowl. A little bit down on pace. Cut well. The outfield is slick, as we know. And despite her best efforts, Emma Taylor couldn't get there. As the power matched the volume of the Waveriders off the field. This is actually going to be quite intense off the field. There's some very competitive people involved. That's not a veiled criticism. Andy Richards coaching the Western Power. He's a former coach of the Heat women. And I believe the Queensland Fire as well in the Women's National Cricket League. So Jackson with an early boundary off Metham. Brilliant! That looked to cut in from the off. The length was perfect. Jackson went neither forward nor back. And Metham, after being cut for 4, strikes back instantly. 2 for 6. The Waveriders on top early. The wind's a bit further down than yesterday. You can't really say that either bowler's bowling with the breeze. If anything, Cavan has got it at the moment coming from the railway end as it blows back towards the camera. But to have Wickman and Jackson back in the shed with only 8 balls gone is quite something. Brianna Craven, who has batted well in this series, now has responsibility with Megan McCartney for steadying this Western Power innings. Been rocked early. Meg Medham just being asked which side of the wicket. Yes, she is going over the wicket to the right-hander. It's just to me that Megan might have been very focused on her process, regardless of who's batting at the other end, and that's not a criticism. Sometimes you need to bowl to what's in front of you, and sometimes you just need to go inside. Make sure that what you're doing is right. And Meg will know what's best for her. Squeezed out, well defended by Craven. Came off the outside edge of the bat, but she had everything covered. So it's an all Sandgate Redcliffe opening attack for the Gold Coast Waveriders, Kavanagh and Metham. At full strength, they have Beth Mooney and Gemma Barsby playing for them at Sandgate Redcliffe. First loose delivery. Down leg side from Metham. The pace is coming. The wind just picks up, again blowing back toward the camera. We're watching from the northern end of the ground. Flick to leg, just through the hands. It will go for 4. It was an aerial shot. The fielder at square leg threw up the hands in hope. That looked to be Taylor Hamblin. Definitely not a chance. Thank you, Christy Turner. Go Melissa Lewis. She is all I can hear. How did you know that was Melissa Lewis? Yes, Melissa Lewis, the Waveriders coach. Played many games with the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken. Beat the outside edge. May have decked away slightly. Didn't appear to be a lot of movement in the air. But if you can hit the seam with the new ball, you pretty much earn the right to get the outside edge. There's the manager, Belinda McDougall, as well. Not exactly silent, and that's not a criticism either. Tucked Craven for room on that occasion. She was good enough to get it wide of the keeper, but not so wide that it went to gully. Got the one of possibly the glove or even the handle. A successful start for Meg Metham. Kavanagh to continue. Yesterday, Metten bowled out from her end, while Kavanagh had 2 overs and then was replaced by Trinity Doyle, also a left armour. Not much of a cross breeze at the moment. Having said that, I'm sitting in a bit of a ditch here at the moment, just in front of the side screen, so I'm probably not the best judge of which way the wind's going. But the flags in front of the clubhouse getting nice and horizontal as the wind blows from the south. Kavanagh from the railway end. That edge is coming into play. Craven went for it, and her footwork was good. She's quite technical, Brianna Craven, which is something I enjoy seeing. It runs in her, plays for UQ. Squeezed, misfield at gully. And McCartney was alert to that, was able to call Craven through for a single. Good running from McCartney. Played a lot of her junior representative cricket, indeed still does, with Bonnie Berry from the Pirates. More on them in a moment, but they have represented Capricornia together at junior cricket. Loose delivery. Now that's interesting. Because first of all, good fielding by Olivia Totten. Now, as I was saying before, you have to judge the boundary as a straight line between 2 markers. And I'm right in line with those 2 markers. Totten was behind them. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not accusing her of cheating, not by any stretch. So let's knock that out. Lofted into the onside. But no, just from an objective perspective, it looked like Totten may have been behind the point where those 2 markers intersect. Two deep fielders for Kavanagh, and they're both behind the wicket, the deep fine leg and the deep third. Kavanagh gets the edge of Craven's bat. Just slides down to Totten, who we may see with the leg spin later at deep third. So Craven not entirely in control, but she did appear to play with nice soft hands, which meant that any edge may not have carried through to Wrigley, and indeed went wide. McCartney on strike now. Beat the bowler, but couldn't beat the mid-wicket coming around. Good over from Kavanagh. 2 for 15 off 3. She has 1 for 5 off her 2. Metten 1 for 10. Currently 2:41. This match is running late. Thanks, Christy. So South Brisbane coach now. Sorry, Christy, is that you or is that Melissa? If it's Melissa, that'd be the Jodie Field Shield. Actually, you're at work, so I'm guessing it's Melissa. Metten has a false start, which is fine. She's allowed that. Now, Mick Sims, thank you, Ashley's dad, has sent through a table. That one goes down leg side. Thanks for the clarification, Christy. So Melissa Lewis now coaching in the Jodie Field Shield at South Brisbane. So Mick says the table, Kings 22, Magic 20, Waveriders 16. In fact, sorry Mick, might be the wrong competition because the Kings before today I think only had the 1 win, so might need to recheck that, but more in a moment. Well defended. Good batting from Craven. Yes, there was some confusion earlier today. The interpretation of the bonus point rule from the organisers appears to be that to get a bonus point, you not only have to be 1.25 your opponent's run rate, but also bowl them out. a wide delivery from Mesham. And that means that on the table I had a lot of the bonus points that I'd awarded would not actually be awarded. And conversely, bonus points are conceded would not have been conceded. So there's some recalibration required. That's about as good as you need to bowl. Had everything at the outside edge, but the length from Medham on that occasion was perfect. So possibly during the change of innings, I'll see what I can do for a points table. So not something that we've been able to sort out automatically with the app or the website yet. Beautiful. Pitched it up, and that one probably didn't swing away, just angled in, and Craven played around it. Left the gap between bat and pad, and the furniture was disturbed. So the Waveriders have been attacking the stumps, and of the 3 wickets, 2 of them have breached the defences of the power bats. So it's 3 for 16, the power play not over yet. Craven departs after a promising start, and I still think there's plenty of runs in her career to come. Plays for University of Queensland. I am looking forward to seeing her progress in the Catherine Raymond Shield, and even if she's back in the Jodie Field Shield. No, didn't mean to say back there. So Jamie Lee Strang, the keeper from the Ipswich club, is the number 5 for the Western Power. I dare say was neither expecting nor hoping to be at the crease in the 4th over. But Mesham, after shaping the previous ball away from Craven, beating the outside edge, attacked the legs. Craven may have played for swing that didn't come. And the gap between bat and pad was created. Clever bowling. And yes, thanks Mick. Coming from the BPL side, I'll explain in a moment. Getting plenty of bounce, Mesham. That hit the back of Strang hard. Yes, with the BPL site mix, sometimes first it comes up with the seniors, then you press the button for the under-19 girls, and it comes up with the under-17 boys. But I've never developed an app in my life. Identifying columns is not the same as fixing them, so I don't mean to be critical. It just means I can't get a points table. Mesham not interested in the appeal. It's not online. It definitely tucked Strang up for room. 1 ball remaining in the over. Mesham, couple of loose deliveries. But apart from that, her usual impressive self, a proper all-rounder Mesham. Just straight onto the thigh pad. And umpire Naylor has her arm out. That was a no ball for overstepping. Here comes the free hit. 2 fielders back are the same as they were for Kavanagh, way back at deep third and deep fine leg. But I appreciate your efforts, Mick, for looking for a points table. I'm sorry it's not as easy as everyone here would like to make it. Mesham just pulled out. As I said her name, so I hope that wasn't my fault. She receives a bit of ribbing from her teammates, does Meg? And really, what are teammates for if not for that? So no one in close. Wait a minute. Well driven. Used the free hit well. Good fielding. Might have been just to the right of the screen, not sure, yes. But Olivia Totten chased it hard, flicked it back just inside the boundary, and then Grace Collins was able to return it. Now, what I thought I saw was a deep third, a deep fine leg, and a deep cover that ball, but I have a feeling that one of those fielders was actually off the field, simply waiting to come on with the change of fielders. So that's my best guess as to what's happened. The power play is over. The total is 3 for 21. So Gold Coast Waveriders on top at the moment, but we've seen worse power plays than that turn into winning scores. So more fielders allowed back now. There's still a deep third and a deep fine leg in place. Now joined by a deep square leg, possibly even a deep backward square leg. A deep cover. A long on. Mid-off appears to be regulation. And so Strang face Kavanagh. Went for the bouncer. It's called one over the shoulder. And just in case there was any doubt, Melissa Lewis was impressed. Now, Kavanagh a lot stronger this year than she was this time last year. Has the bouncer now. Wayward, down leg side, possibly just aiming for too much pace. Though again, as she bowled that, the wind picked up. So bowling with the wind from the railway end. About 30 kilometres to the east of Brisbane City out here in Redlands. Pretty much due east. And the train line from the city is what you can occasionally hear being used in the background. Not far away from either off stump or bat edge. Keeping for Wrigley. Tried coming up to the stumps to the quicker bowlers yesterday. I thought that might have been an error, particularly after the injury to Dahlia Glennie early on Monday. Staying back, very quick outfield here too, so more consequence for buys. Wider, indecisive running, but eventually they get there. As Strang completes a single, moves to 2. McCartney on 4, she's been steady. Enjoying the true bounce of this wicket at Peter Burge Oval. The Redlands Club and Easts before it, they haven't had a huge number of test players, but you could argue that Peter Burge was the greatest. He was a middle order batsman for Australia in the 1960s. Well remembered in these parts. Foolish delivery, stylishly driven by McCartney. Couple of fumbles at mid-off, which meant McCartney stayed interested in the run, but eventually declined it wisely. There's a shorter batsman, Peter Burge, loved to hook and pull. Oh, beautiful. That looked a pitch leg and then cut away to the off. McCartney was beaten by it, and I dare say a lot of other batters would have been as well. Clever bowling from Kavanagh. Not sure there's really a equivalent of Peter Burge in Australian cricket now. Just tucked by McCartney around the corner. Couldn't beat the field. 5 overs gone, 3 for 23. It's 8 minutes to 3 here in Brisbane. This game will be delayed. It will finish probably not until about 5:30 or so. Maybe 5:15. They do get through things a bit quicker in the under-19 women's. Messam to continue. It's been a pace onslaught from the Waveriders. If you got it, use it. Not quite West Indian. appeal. It's given. It's given. Height certainly wasn't an issue. And Messam has the LBW decision. So Strang departs. And Messam with a good length delivery. Hit below the knee roll of Strang. And a fourth wicket is down as the Waveriders make deep inroads into this power lineup. The new batter looks to be Emily Titmarsh. We haven't seen her on the live stream yet this week. But she's another player for Souths in the Jodie Field Shield, so she'd be coached by Melissa Lewis at club level as well. So Messam with a second breakthrough. Angled the ball in. And Strang was adjudged to be straight enough. Of the number 6 already. Christy Turner puts out the call for Emma Taylor, rather. Or Elmo. Best I can do. Full tucked up, bit shorter than the previous delivery. Sorry, Emily Titmarsh, I do apologise. Yeah, I got there in the end, Christy. Sorry about that. A lot of these players well known to each other through the Catherine Raymond Shield and Jodie Field Shield. It's the outside edge. Yes, there are a few teams that play in the Jodie Fields and not the Catherine Raymonds. I believe Wynnum Manly and Redlands play separately. Souths and Norths are in the Jodie Fields. Sunshine Coast won the second grade competition 2 years ago, decided to move up to the top competition and then won that. Bottom edge, and well stopped by Michaela Wrigley. For players like Peter Burge, Mick Sims has suggested Greg Ritchie, and he's absolutely right. I think Peter Burge is probably a bit shorter than Greg Ritchie. I was thinking David Boone, and I thought that was too long ago. And then you went Greg Ritchie, so no, I'm trying to figure the 2010s, if I can. Top edge, it's just floated over the slip fielder, and I think Abby Harris. But any way to get off the mark is good enough, and Titmarsh has done it with a little upward dab, a lofted cut, a slice over slip. I'll put the thesaurus away. It's lovely. The appeal should be turned down, and is. But another successful over for Meg Messam, and at the end of 6, 4 for 24. And the Power have a long way back to get into this match. Rewinding 24 hours. Just to rewind 24 hours, the Waveriders made a very good start against the Southern Rockets. And the Southern Rockets recovered well to post 122, which was only passed in the final over. So Titmarsh faced Kavanagh in a final over. And Titmarsh, so far, her stock in trade is runs that have gone to places she didn't quite intend, but she's up to 2. As she inside edges that one to fine leg. There's deep fielders. On the offside, there's a deep third and a long off. And on the leg side, Long on, deep square leg, deep fine leg. Went for the bounce, didn't quite get up. McCartney played that very well, just rode with the bounce of the ball and tucked it off the hip for one. Paddy Toshak in at mid-wicket. Will probably open again today. Went short, nicely glided from Titmarsh. That was a lot more intentional. Guided it down to deep third for a single. So Titmarsh moving along steadily. And the field is well back. The fielder closest to the bat is the short mid-wicket. Apart from that, everyone on the circle. Nice cover drive from McCartney, and well cut off. A hand to it from Emma Taylor in the covers. They will get two. Did get through Taylor a bit, but would have been a certain boundary if not for her hand. So McCartney taking advantage of something full and wide. Total to 29, 7th over. Kavanagh to McCartney. Another short ball, guided through gully by McCartney, and an easy single. So two right-handers at the crease. The field not changing. The field is inside the circle. There's the regulation mid-wicket, and on the offside there's a point, a cover, and a mid-off. Actually, more of an extra cover, let's say. Down leg, well played by Titmarsh, but it will go only just to the left of the fine leg fielder in Grace Collins. And so the power succeeding in rotating the strike as Kavanagh finishes her 4 overs. Gets 1 wicket, which will give her enormous confidence. 1 for 14. It's McCartney and Titmarsh doing a very nice job of turning the strike over, making sure that the scoreboard is ticking over as the time ticks over to 3 o'clock, which is why you probably just heard the bell over at Wellington Point State High School, letting the kids who aren't there, because they're all on holidays, know that they can go home. Metham to bowl out from the clubhouse end. She gets good bounce. It's a front-on action, so when she hits the seam particularly and really follows through down the wicket, it helps both her pace and her bounce. Probably the most vocal of the sides on the field, the Waveriders. Went for something slower and fuller. Titmarsh met it. It's gone through cover for 1. There's easily time for 2. There's Trinity Doyle, who may be bowling very shortly, throws it on the bounce to Wrigley behind the stumps. So 33 off 7.2. They're edging towards 5 and over. Again, not where the power wanted to be, but considering where they were, this partnership is doing everything right. McCartney and Titmarsh. Apart from that shot, this partnership is doing everything right. And thanks, Christy. More encouragement for M. Titmarsh, who had a couple of lucky shots early, but then has been really working the ball around the field well. Got to see Metham off. 3 balls to go. Second time this over, Metham goes with a slower ball. Again draws the false shot outside off stump. Because even when she slows it down, she's still able to get that bounce. Not a beanpole Metham, but she's not short. Follows through the crease well. It should beat the field. Yeah, it's just cleared the gully fielder in Doyle. Only about a metre or two. So just the single brings McCartney back on strike. So Metham's final delivery. She's been destructive today. 3 for 20. Superb sustained spell of fast bowling. And an excellent trademark way to finish from Meg Metham. Superb spell, 4 overs, 3 wickets for 20. And she has had the biggest impact on the early part of this final round match in the Mazda Brisbane Premier League Under-19 Women's Division. The Gold Coast Waveriders in the Golden Blues, or the Golden Blues, up against the Western Power in the green, grey and black. We will now have an enforced double bowling change. The openers have been seen off, but there's no relief because the railway end will now be occupied by Trinity Doyle. I haven't worked out whether she's quicker or slower than Julia Kavanagh, but when we're dealing at that pace, it doesn't really matter. Titmarsh on strike, 4 for 34 after 8. Lovely stroke through the covers. It's actually beaten the cover fielder. There's a diving save, but it's fumbled and has gone for 4. That's Titmarsh's best stroke. She leant on that, made sure she got the middle of the bat, and that was quite authoritative. Not a bad ball from Doyle, but Titmarsh played a superb cover drive. Tried to give it the same treatment, didn't quite time it as well. So Doyle just working into her spell, not at full pace yet. I agree, Christy, it was a wonderful hit. The live chat is open, I'm keeping an eye on it. My battery is working. So anything you'd like to say respectfully. Top edged, into the leg side, and it's dropped. She was nice and relaxed under the ball, and maybe too much so. Abby Toshak, she sets high standards for herself, the Sunshine Coast player. And she's put down Titmarsh on 11. Now on 12, of course. Hit well outside leg. The appeal was more because it hit the pad as opposed to you got to hit the pad in line, etc., etc. So Trinity Doyle creating chances. Well kept out by McCartney and kept out with power. Good throw from mid-off as well. Some pretty good cricket all round. The throw came in from Sebi Kaur at mid-off. Deep cover in place as well as 2 deep straight. Slapped. Oh, it's beaten. It's split the fielders in the inner ring, but there is a boundary rider as opposed to a wave rider. And there'll just be 1. So Titmarsh retains the strike. She's on 13. 4 for 41 after 9. So they've scored 20 runs in the 5 overs since the power play ended. But most importantly for them, only lost the 1 wicket. But the trick for any side facing the Wave Riders is how do you attack them? Because if you can't attack Kavanagh and Messam, and to a lesser degree Doyle, it means you have to go after some still fairly decent bowlers like Totten and Hamblin. Or indeed the medium-fast stylings of Emma Taylor. A genuine Gold Coaster. And She will replace Metten from the clubhouse end, the northern end. This is the Brisbane Premier League Under-19 Women's, brought to you by Mazda from Peter Burge Oval in Wellington Point. Good, full and straight. It was mishit to leg, but the field is deep enough that Titmarsh was able to get off strike. A full toss, looked to be just below the waist. They'll get one. It's the umpire's checking, but no, it just fell below waist level. It's well played in the end. So it's an M&M matchup. Emma Taylor to Emily Titmarsh. Nice cut shot, even though it was straight. She could see that it was above the line of the bails and that if she could get it through the offside, the reward was there. Picked out the fielder instead. There's a big difference between cutting off middle stump to a low ball and to a ball that's already bounced over the top. Taylor a bit short and drew the false shot. Apparently that last ball from Elmo was too short for Melissa Lewis's liking. Oh, honestly, there's no pleasing some people. Taylor operating well early. 2 runs off this over so far. Titmarsh looking to get onto that cut shot. Didn't quite get every piece of that either, but enough to get a single. So the total is squeaking towards 50. Boundary's hard to come by. The cover drive from Titmarsh recently, a rare exception. Well played by McCartney. The throw's coming in. Probably needed to be a direct hit. It was overall a well-judged run, and it was Titmarsh's call. So McCartney, she's on 11. It's 4 for 45 at the halfway mark. You'd have to say the Waveriders on top with that scoreline. The last 6 overs have produced 1 for 24. So they're ticking over the power at 4 runs and over. Thank you, Mick. For those of you watching the live chat, there is currently a pun on screen, which to me is like an outswinger outside off stump. I must resist the temptation. But Mick, I acknowledge your pun. Trinity Doyle to continue from the railway end. Just tuck that off the legs. Looking for opportunities. Again, the infield is all back on the ring. We saw Jess Bradley doing very well with her magic field placings before. That's the team name, not an adjective. Jamming down on it, McCartney. Despite the fact that runs are difficult to come by, they've never stopped looking, McCartney and Titmarsh. Trying to work it away, always looking for where the runs might be. Doyle's making it very difficult. Just off the pads, the appeal comes from square of the wicket. And they will take a leg by. No, definitely hit outside leg. But you know, Taylor Hamblin's been able to clear the lungs. Very healthy. Titmarsh on strike, 15. The on drive goes straight to a fielder. The mid-on is inside the circle, on the edge of it. So there's no one really saving one for the drop and run. Wrigley has come up to the stumps. So there's singles around, but Doyle's not really allowing it. Now Titmarsh had the right idea there to play it to leg, but unfortunately she sort of backed away, which meant it ended up being on the line of the body when she tried to play the shot, which isn't really what you're after. But again, there's no putting the cue in the rack. It's always looking for where the runs are. Good attitude. Driven. Doyle takes some pace off it. They'll still get one. As the throw-in misses. And so still 11 overs in, and the Power haven't been able to reach 50. There's no lack of talent in the Power batting lineup, but the bowling has been controlled. Even at the pace of players like Messam and Kavanagh, there haven't been a lot of loose deliveries. So 4 for 47. Emma Taylor's been keeping it tight as well. She will now bowl to Emily Titmarsh, who's moved to 16. A lot of pride in this partnership. I'm going to say that was a more dangerous attempted cut shot from Emily Titmarsh because it didn't bounce. But she was good enough to connect. The hand-eye coordination was there. So she moves to 17. Fumbling towards 50 are the Power. Right idea from McCartney. Maybe just lifted the head. The bat speed was impressive, but perhaps excessive. Just a bye, Wrigley with a rare blemish. Remember, this is their 6th game in 3 days. I realise they're 2020 games, but with the intensity at which 2020 games are played, in a tough week of cricket, the women have done well. Now, Wrigley's gone for the run out. The back foot was anchored. But it does give you some idea of the concentration of Michaela Wrigley. If there's no opportunity, you try to create one. So Titmarsh. She either got not enough bat on that or too much. The amount she got meant that the ball was just bunted to cover. A bit less, maybe a single to third. A bit more, maybe streaking through the covers. Lofted. It's out of reach, so she'll get one. It will be fielded on the boundary. And I love that on a carpet like outfield on a first grade ground, the fielders are confident to run around, pick it up with one hand, and show off their skills. Good throw from the outfield. I think Toshak. Taylor bowling with control. The 50 is up. Three times this over, McCartney and Titmarsh between them tried to hit to cow corner from middle stump. On each occasion they got away with it because Taylor gets some good bounce over the stumps. But they need to make sure that being aggressive is done with technique. Doesn't mean you hold back your bat speed, it just means you actually watch the ball that you're trying to clout. And I agree, Christie, they must be exhausted. They're being looked after by some good coaches, some good managers. And they're all living for this. Very proud, playing with intensity. I think everyone in this comp wants to get that trophy on tomorrow afternoon. In fact, this time tomorrow, we will be possibly even deeper into the final, maybe even towards the end of the first innings. So Ava Spencer Ava Salvestrin, apologies. Ava Spencer plays for an entirely different team. But Ava Salvestrin plays for Norths in the Jodie Field Shield. And she will now bowl from the railway end, taking over from Trinity Doyle. 12 overs gone. Power surge available. Not taken yet. That's a good length. Just a little support for Salvestrin from the coaching staff and teammates. Shorter delivery. Titmarsh, of course, with reduction in pace, she has to get a lot more power in the shot to beat the infield. On this occasion, I think that's Sebi Kaur at a shorter mid-wicket. Well, she has gone a bit back a bit deeper now. Swatted into the leg side by Titmarsh. Slightly wrong-footed the fielder at deep mid-on, but not significantly so. So she gets off strike. 4 for 51. And we're into the 13th over. So the runs have dried up even for these two who are still looking to turn the strike over. It's just very, very difficult with this Waveriders attack. And tucking up McCartney for room. And good point, Nick. Of course, the Catherine Raymond and Jodie Field Shield on Sunday, the round one of the Jodie Field Shield on Sunday, which is a 40-over comp, at least at this stage. So this is the 4th consecutive day of cricket with a 5th to come. Hit to leg. It's into the gap. May not be enough power on it from McCartney, but she has got it to fine leg, and Totten just looked to hold back the shoulder as she tried to throw that. I'm not sure if she's carrying an injury. But a good 2 runs to McCartney. She's on 13, Titmarsh 19. It's been a long time since a wicket was lost. But only 8 runs scored in the last 17 balls. Nice and full. And a bit of in-swing there for Salvestrin as well. Clearly one of the younger players in the side, Ava Silvestrin. Let nobody down with that over. Superb work. Everything straight. So tomorrow, all 3 games, both semi-finals and the final, will be on this field. After much deliberation, it was decided that it's actually more of an advantage for the team that finished first to play the later semi-final, because even though it means that if they win, they'll play 2 consecutive games, it also means they don't have to get up at 6 in the morning to get here. So second versus third will play at 8 a.m. here on Peter Burge Oval. And Emma Taylor strikes. Titmarsh has been trying that shot for a while, and she has been playing the pull shot off middle stump. That ball from Taylor actually had fairly regular bounce. Some have bounced a little lower, some a little higher. But Emily Titmarsh's innings comes to an end. She's been industrious at her time at the crease, played with a lot of heart. It has to go now. Excuse me, I just bumped the camera. Thankfully, I think I did it while the scoreboard was on screen. Yes, got away with it. Thank you, Keith Crichton, for praising the bowling of Ava Salvestrin. I'll see if I can pass that on during the change of innings. And yes, Nick Anderson, Mel and Emily have batted amazingly. And Melissa Lewis, the opposition coach today, giving Emily Titmarsh a lot of encouragement. And I think I have knocked the camera offline, so I'll just go fix that up. But Christy points out that Emily and Melissa batted the whole game on Sunday. I'm guessing that's for Souths in the Jodie Field Shield. That's a tremendous effort. Excuse me for a second. apologies for making anybody seasick with the camera movements. But thanks for everyone in the live chat. It's good to have some company apart from anything else. I've been sitting on my lonesome beneath the side screen all day. To anyone who doesn't know what I'm doing, I must look mad, but there is no better way to watch this cricket. Harris, the new bat. Lets it go outside off stump. A good take from Wrigley. That'd be Harris, number 25. Very capable with the bat. McCartney, who came in at 3, anchoring this innings. On 13, but again has worked very hard. Only 15 herself. Just tucked off there, a bit of extra bounce there from Taylor, and in the end the fielding restricts the run. Very energetic in the field, the Waveriders. With Melissa Lewis coaching, I think you wouldn't dare not be. Chris, you just flick the video back a couple of minutes, watch the wicket, jump forward again. Lofted, it's over the head of long off. It was in doubt there for a bit, bounced inside, and a good effort from Tot, and it was just beyond her. But it does mean that Harris is off the mark. Total moves to 54. There were 45 at the end of 10 overs. There's only been 9 runs since, after 22 balls. The stranglehold from the Waveriders has been brilliant. Beautiful bouncer from Taylor, but an equally good hook shot. Doesn't quite have the power on it from McCartney. And the throw took a couple of bounces to get to Wrigley. She appeals anyway because keeper. But McCartney did well to scramble back for a couple. It's the power. Try to give themselves a total they can defend. The scoreboard plays catch up. What you have on the screen is probably more accurate than what I have at the ground. 5 for 55 now, with 1 ball remaining in over number 14. Power surge still available, not taken yet. Another short ball hit into the leg side, it's safe. The Anurakshi Don will race around from mid-on to mid-wicket, and a good throw to Taylor at the bowler's end. That's the end of the 14th. 5 for 56. As the Waveriders suffocate the life out of this power innings. They have 5 wickets, but the control, not a lot of sundries in this innings. Not many sundries in this innings. Grammar Daniel. Salvestrin has earned herself a second over. Baldwell in the first, McCartney up to 15, and the power surge has been taken. And so this may result in a change of bowling. Salvestrin's now looking around. Kevin has thought about keeping Salvestrin on. No, the cap's been returned. And it is for this purpose that Trinity Doyle was held back before. So as expected, she will take up the attack in the power surge. But a good tactical move from McCartney. Better off taking it now with wickets in hand than not taking it, losing a couple, and then having the power play still there to use with batters who aren't set. Harris can swing the bat. McCartney's been in for a while. Good move to take it. That was good cricket. McCartney putting the right leg back, just doing the little distracting move, which I think began in the 80s with players like Jarvin Meandad. Ask your grandfather. But Trinity Doyle producing the swinging Yorker on demand. More walking across the crease from McCartney. She wasn't unsettled, but she did mistime it. It just trickled to mid-wicket for no run. McCartney stayed steady on that occasion. Maybe that wasn't the ball for that shot. She's trying to clear the infield, and so cleared the front leg, but Doyle kept it fairly full. It was only Doyle's bounce that saved McCartney on that occasion, so no runs in the first 3 balls of the power surge. That is some slick work. That is the best stumping we've seen on the live stream this series. Doyle kept it full. McCartney barely moved, possibly overbalanced a touch. Wrigley got it on the half volley and had the bails off in a flash. That is absolutely brilliant keeping from Michaela Wrigley. And the 6th wicket is down, and the vigil from Megan McCartney comes to an end. But again, she needs to be applauded for how much fight and grit she showed. Never gave up in that innings, was always looking to attack, even when it was difficult. Receives warm applause from the opposition coach and manager, Melissa Lewis and Belinda McDougall. And they're vocal in support of their own team, but they are equally generous with their praise and appreciation of their opponents. Lucy Williams comes to the crease, who played a critical role in the tie against the Dingoes yesterday. The Power were looking well behind the chase. And then Williams crashed a few boundaries. And to be honest, coming into the Power surge, 4 balls into it, not a bad time for Williams to arrive at the crease. So Doyle has a wicket. A rare stumping, I would suggest, for Doyle. I wouldn't imagine she'd get too many of those. But Michaela Wrigley has produced an outstanding piece of glove work. So Doyle to Williams. It's an edge. Caught! Doyle's on a hat-trick. Williams went for a big shot. It flew to short third. And Haruni Lianarakchi Don didn't really have to move. Took the ball very comfortably at about throat level. And Williams, who had a license to attack really, she's a big hitter. She was out there in the power play. Doyle gave her something just full of a half volley. Didn't get onto it, and the field placing was superb. That's one occasion when a fielder right on the edge of the circle is absolutely justified. And Trinity Doyle finds herself with 2 in 2. And Sarah Walker will face the hat-trick delivery. And Trinity Doyle. Now, maybe this changes as you go upper level in cricket, but at the wonderfully fun Z grade level at which I used to play, this is where you set the most attacking field that your dreams have ever allowed. There'd be 3 slips right now. Cavanagh's finally awake to it. She's brought a few players in. You're happy to concede a 4 in this instance. Still at 7 for 56. The Waveriders must be confident chasing this down. I'm not suggesting complacency. I'm not suggesting being profligate. But a hat-trick is such a special thing that I think you've got to give Doyle every opportunity. I don't believe we've had one in the Premier League, certainly not in the women's. Actually very comfortably played by Walker in the end, just guided it to gully and took the single. And the power surge has yielded a lot of wickets. As maybe there have been a few batters who have tried to push the envelope a bit. But I think also there are bowlers who rise to the occasion of the power surge, who realise that this is where their team needs them. And Trinity Doyle stood up magnificently in that over. Dismissed the set Meg McCartney. Dismissed the dangerous Lucy Williams. Did absolutely superbly. Emma Taylor will continue from the clubhouse end, the northern end. Seven for 57 off 15. Well defended. Sarah Walker getting in behind it. She'll play a role a little later, you would think, with her leg spinners. From the Ipswich club. Harris from Valley. Taylor from the Gold Coast. Lofted, went towards the Anurakchi Don again. No run. Bounced a good way in front of her. It's probably just to the side of what you can see. Nicely driven. They take the single because mid-off is a long way back. That's Totten. Hasn't been required today yet, but you would think the Waveriders have a finals campaign tomorrow. Don't think I finished before. Second versus third at 8 o'clock tomorrow. First versus fourth at 11. And the final at 2. Culmination of the under-19 women's component of the Mazda Brisbane Premier League 2021. The first, hopefully, of many. It's going to end up being a bye. It's a bit unlucky for Wrigley because she had a bat swinging at 100 miles an hour in front of her face. It wasn't far away from the bat, or the bails, or the edge, or the gloves. Well, quite a few things congregated around that area. Taylor's bowling well. It's been a good afternoon's work. And again beats the outside edge. 1 for 10 with 1 delivery to go. Emma Taylor, allegedly the medium pace relief after the pace trio. Nothing of the sort. And a good Yorker to finish. She'll finish with 1 for 11 because long off was back with Totten. But well done, Emma Taylor. It's a good afternoon's work. 7 for 60. I was going to say between overs 11 to 15. The power 3 for 12. Admittedly, 2 of those wickets were in the final over of that section. And now Salvestrin will resume her spell. It was due to bowl when the power play was taken. And I still don't criticise the decision of the power to take the power play when they did. Power surge, rather. It's a gamble to take it at any time, really. It's a gamble to leave it. It's really just a decision about when you take it. I don't think there was anything wrong with what they decided. Doyle was superb. But it's now Salvestrin to bowl to Walker. Full and straight, lofted straight. It's intelligent batting from Walker, straight into the gap. 2 fielders converge, it'll just be the single. So whether it's for bonus point purposes or net run rate purposes or whatever tiebreakers are in place, the Waveriders may decide to at least have a go at really knocking off these runs quickly. If they can keep the power to say no more than 80, there's every chance they could really attack it with the likes of Wrigley, maybe Collins, Kavanagh. certainly just down leg side, and even then Harris moved the fairway towards off. And in fact, there has been called byes. That's good umpiring. Because Harris did move a long way across her stumps, and as she stood still, that would have crashed into her pad. Silvestrin impressive. Straight lofted, the mid on his back, so there'll be an easy one. Probably not a two. It's just lobbed back to Silvestrin by Doyle. You can see the live chat. I think Greg Kennedy's just made an excellent point. I'll add a third one in a moment, but unfortunately I got to enjoy it and you didn't. That could be four. It's gone behind square. In fact, it won't be four. It's pulled in well and truly. A little bit of a fumble on pickup. But the throw was quite good. And then Wrigley just calmly took it with the back of the hand, if you don't mind. Taylor Hamblin with the throw on that occasion. Yes, Greg suggests that the two highlights of the day, at least from his perspective, Jess Bradley's pull shot, and it's part of her 22-ball 50 in the first match. And then the stumping from Michaela Wrigley. Nice work from Harris. Walked to the offside, hit it down the ground, didn't get all of it, and she'll only get one down to Doyle at long on. Yeah, unfortunately it was to the right of the camera, but Sienna Ginger took a boundary catch where she took it over her shoulder and then had to make sure she didn't step over the boundary imaginary line. That was a key play in the second game. There's quality cricket here and some very young players producing important performances. Ava Silvestrin. Okay, it's top edge. Going towards mid-off, it'll fall well short. Pushed well back. So Walker has a single. That's the end of Silvestrin's second over. 17 gone. 7 for 67. So the last 2 overs have yielded 10 runs for the loss of no further wicket. But the Waveriders will be happy that the big overs from the Power are still only going for 5 or so. During the senior and under-19 men's component or competitions with the Brisbane Premier League, because the matches were held every Sunday, there was time to pick a team of the week each week for both competitions. Unfortunately, this has moved so rapidly that with the limited number of staff and media officers around, there hasn't really been time to do this. Possibly retrospectively, we can pick the team of day 1, team of day 2, team of the tournament, etc. Olivia Totten on for the first time today. Only 3 overs remaining, but the Waveriders well on top. Leg spinner. Just straight onto the pads, which allowed Walker to turn it round the corner for a single, short fine. The deep field is a straight. Totten. Intelligent batting, thought about the big hit, just went for the push. The throw was straight but high. And I like the attitude of Melissa Lewis, and that someone does something that didn't quite work, the first words they hear are next one. Can't change the past, do a fair bit about the future. Full toss. Whacked to cow corner, and it splits the gap. Liana Rakshidon was coming round from long on. It was too wide for her. 4 runs. 7 for 73. So rare loose delivery in this innings. But Totten is putting some revs on the ball. You've got to allow a leg spinner the luxury of just a little error here and there if they're really trying to turn it. kept low. That looked to be a slider out the front of the hand. Well adjusted from Walker, a leg spinner herself. Possibly recognised what was coming. I think Lewis possibly keeping an eye on the over race as well, just making sure they get the 80 minutes in. Harris advanced. It's coming down towards Kavanagh. Kavanagh takes a good catch at long off. She had a few metres to come in, but it never looked in doubt. The hands wrapped around it. And Totten, it was a full toss, but remember that Harris moved a long way down the wicket to meet it. And unfortunately, the shot wasn't well directed and Kavanagh's hands were sure. So the Waveriders captain takes the catch. Abby Harris is gone. The power rate down. The new batter is Macy Hauser, who may well take the new ball for the power in maybe 20 minutes from now. Batters did cross, so Hauser will be at the non-strikers end. Walker's back on strike. 8 for 74. The Waveriders will be happy. Still 13 balls remaining. Ooh. Came down the pitch, I think forgot to swing at one point, but luckily for Walker, as soon as she realised she'd missed it, scampered back because she knew exactly who was standing behind her. Successful over for Olivia Totten. 8 for 74 with 2 overs remaining. Harris taking on the bowling, as she should have. Maybe was trying to get it straighter in between Kavanagh and the Anurakchi Don. We haven't seen the bowling of Haruni, the Anurakchi Don, in this series, at least not on camera. Bowls a fair bit for UQ in the Raymond Shield. Medium pacer, gets some movement. We have spin at the far end as well. Short. It's Grace Collins, just doesn't quite find her length early. But it's stuck in the hand. Not normally a bowler, Grace Collins, is my understanding. But good for her to have an opportunity here. Second last over. Best component for the power was the partnership between McCartney and Titmarsh. Much better ball from Collins. Beat the outside edge. Not sure if she got the outside edge or whether it just spun past everything. And it is called a bye. That's kind of by listening to Ian Healy talk about keeping. Says you should always go for the edge or the stumping. The byes will happen. Don't worry about those. The wicket's more important. Wrigley did everything right there. Okay, no ball. It's bowled. It's hit the stumps, but because it bounced twice, not out. Once upon a time, the law was if it bounces more than twice if it's a no ball. And it will be of no surprise to anyone that I once took a wicket with a ball that bounced twice before it reached the batter. But you know, I like commentary, so I'll give that a go. Grace Collins, defending a free hit. Hauser threw the kitchen sink at it, beats the infield, and they are going to turn for 2. Some good work in the outfield as Sevi Kaur gets the ball back in. So Hauser did well, did the right thing. It's Grace Collins. She's got good balls in her. Unfortunately, that ball's come out 3 times this over. Just concedes the one to cover. guess it depends how much Collins wants to work on her leg spin. She may decide that her batting's more important, work on her fielding. It might be advised to just sort of think about spinning it up more as opposed to pushing it downwards. Wasn't bad. It's just evades the reach of Liana Archidon at mid-wicket. It's just the one conceded as Walker rather found the gap over the infield. 7 balls remaining, 8 for 81. Even 100 looks a bit far away for the power at this stage. Whacked into the outfield, it's safe. Probably won't be 4 as the boundary riders come into play, but they have run 2. Good strong throw from Toshak in the outfield. It's a long boundary out there. So 8 for 83 with 1 over remaining. Walker and Hauser throwing the bat. They both look capable. It will be Totten to finish off from this end. Lots of fielders back. Long off, long on, deep mid-wicket. Played along the ground, through cover. There's definitely one. It's fielded by, I think, Peden. Apologies, Doyle. Hauser. Beats the bowler. It's a long way back to Kavanagh at long off, so they'll take the single. They may have decided, at least early in the over, just make sure you get 1 off every ball. You can worry about the big hits afterwards. Tossed up, didn't get all of that, got a little piece of it. Again, just a single. As Walker wears one. And then just taps the ball back to her fellow leg spinner, Totten. So 3 balls remaining. A loose delivery and they'll run a second wide. That's good anticipation from Walker. Just slipped out at the side of the hand from Totten. That happens. So still 3 balls remaining. 8 for 88. This time wide to the other side. Totten just looks a little bit discouraged. This is where a bit of encouragement is required. Kavanagh provides it for long off. We've seen Totten bowl. We know she can finish this off. Walker looking for opportunities to score. Good use of the feet. Hit it to Kaur. Didn't get underneath her at all. Kaur was standing at mid-wicket. And Walker departs. And Olivia Clark will make her way to the crease. It looks like Ashley Sims might be in the 12, but not in the batting 11. 9 for 89, so Power with 2 balls to do what they can. But Sevi Kaur very comfortable at mid-wicket. Went more or less straight to her. Walker had the right idea by advancing down the wicket just to turn it into a full toss. Did that bit right. Didn't quite get the hitting part right. So Walker departs. Clark on strike. Just the one left-hander in the Power batting lineup today. That was Emma Jackson. Apart from that, it's been all Northpaw. Good ball from Totten. And even on the second last ball, Wrigley raced around to snuff out any thought of a single. 9 for 89. Final delivery. Down leg side, they've run another one. So the total will be at least 91. Wrigley did well. There may even be an overthrow. There will be. The fielding on that ball was sloppy, but that's atypical of the Waveriders' performance. So it's 3 more runs they have to chase. But Tottenham's pulled it together well this over. A couple of wides earlier, then came back for a wicket. Keeps it outside off. The innings is completed. 9 for 92. The Waveriders will be absolutely thrilled with their bowling performance today. It began with the pace of Kavanagh and Metham. Kavanagh took her first wicket of the series, long overdue. Metham was the destroyer with 3 for 20. Doyle bowled very well, took 2 wickets in the power surge. And for the power, the best part of their innings was a very dogged, determined partnership between Megan McCartney and Emily Titmarsh, which anchored the innings in the middle. But around that, the Waveriders were superb. Ava Salvestrin, beg your pardon. Young bowler, Trinity Doyle, 2 for 9 off her overs. Olivia Totten with 2 for 16. She can just remember not to lose confidence when 1 or 2 things go wrong. She'll have a good career ahead of her. But 9 for 92 is really all that the Waveriders allowed the power to score. The Waveriders pretty much in control from start to finish. So the chase of 93 will begin in about 10 minutes or so. Until then, you can look at a very pretty picture of a scoreboard and a cricket ground. So I'll be back in 10. And the Waveriders in pursuit of 93. The power. They dismissed the Marlins for 76 yesterday afternoon. They'll be looking to summon that kind of performance again. I'll see you in 10 minutes. Those of you still watching, I'll just turn the camera so you can see both the grandstand and the Western Power warming up. And back we go. Power coach Andy Richards. Well, about this time yesterday, the Western Power were halfway through a match with the undefeated Coastal Marlins. They'd put on the board what they thought might be a fairly disappointing total of 114, and they then proceeded to bowl out the Coastal Marlins for 76. It's that kind of performance that the Power will need now if they are to defeat the Gold Coast Waveriders with just 9 for 92 on the board to defend. But clearly this is a side that trusts their bowling. Yesterday it was Olivia Clark with 4 for 18, who was the main destroyer. Welcome back to the Peter Burge Oval in Wellington Point in Redlands to the east of Brisbane. My name's Daniel Viles. This is the 6th of 6th innings we're showing from the Under-19 women's competition of the Mazda Premier League today. Abby Toshak is in the number 24 shirt for the Waveriders, and she will face the first delivery. It's floated. And Macy Hauser. Hauser on the money straight away. There's warm-up delivery. She will get a little bit quicker, Hauser. Wrapped on the pads. That's out. And just as in the first innings where Nanny Wickman was dismissed off the second ball, Macy Hauser has replicated the feat with an LBW decision. It looked very adjacent as Toshak got caught on the crease and found herself LBW. It's 1 for none, exactly as it was after 2 balls of the Power innings. Perfect start for the Power, and they needed something like that. Kayla Wrigley is the non-striker who put in an excellent performance with the gloves in the first half of this match. It's Taylor Hamblin on strike. Macy Hauser works from the railway end. On the money, oh, a misfield from, I think, McCartney at mid-off. And with this outfield, 4 runs results. Plenty of bat on it from Hamblin. Hamblin from Norths. Does bowl a bit of off-spin, not used today. But she's opened the scoring. Bit of a square drive with foot movement that was forward and back, and yet neither. The live stream is open, the phone battery is working, as is the external battery. So no, happy to read your comments and have a bit of company from you. Good length ball, slapped out to mid-wicket. It just beats the outstretched arm of Abby Harris. She reels it in from the boundary. It'll be 2 runs to Hamblin. She looks to be aggressive early. So Macy Hauser accurate early. From the Gold Coast, playing against the Waveriders. Nearly chopped on. That was on off stump. Hamblin went for the cut shot. And very nearly paid for it. Superb first over from Hauser. It's 1 for 6 after 1. Thank you, Greg. I'm asked if the Ibis took any catches. I'm tempted to say not only did the Ibises, and we had a situation in the previous game where there was one situated behind the long-off fielder and one behind the long-on fielder. And I think each fielder looked a little bit threatened, to be honest. Not only did they not take catches, but I think they risked giving away a no ball for having too many fielders outside the circle. So they were really of no use to anyone. But I will always defend the Ibis. I'm not a fan of the bin chicken characterisation. I've seen Ibises in their natural habitat, and they're quite graceful and quite nice sounding, actually, when we're not hounding them in King George Square. So no, I will always defend the Ibis. What's more important now is that Ashley Sims has changed shirt number since yesterday. She was in the 14, now in the 11. Beautiful start. So for those who don't follow Queensland first grade women's cricket, Sims was the leading wicket taker in women's first grade last year. Quicker. It was out wide, but definitely not one to be called. So Sims, a trailblazer player, 21 years old, adding experience to the power. Beautifully flighted. The previous ball was flat. That one got above the eye line and then very quickly dipped below it. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to watch Ashley Sims from behind her shoulder. Pushed to cover with one hand off the bat in the end from Michaela Wrigley, but all along the carpet. It does mean Sims has got through 4 dot balls, which Wrigley may not mind. They may choose to see Sims off. Straight, little too full, but it allows the single. It's good work from mid-on. Abby Harris onto it swiftly. Had the shine, missed, but in the defending 92, it's worth going for the wickets, particularly early. So Taylor Hamblin on strike. Beats the outside edge, also beats the keeper Strang. So there will be a bye as it's chased down to third, and the throw lands at Strang's feet as well. The over completed, 2 runs from it, only 1 off the bat. So 1 for 8 after 2. And Wickman will have to be clever into how she uses Ashley Sims today, because she wants to maximise her wicket-taking opportunities. So using her early will help create pressure and create wicket-taking opportunities for other bowlers. But maybe while the batters are still getting set, maybe you're better off using another bowler, and then when they're trying to attack using Sims. Both methods have their pluses and minuses. As Sims moves into slip, I like this. Hamblin facing Hauser. Straight, and always the hint of movement with Hauser. Doesn't always get sideways movement, says the commentator as the wind picks up. But she occasionally does, and in many ways, it's a better problem to have. Down leg and swatted. Absolutely fiercely played behind square by Hamblin. Waited for it, saw that it was the attempted slower ball, and timed it perfectly. It's an excellent 4 runs from Taylor Hamblin. Hauser back on the money. Very tight. It's good to be tight in T20, but I think Hauser had the right idea, which is not simply to think about not conceding runs, but to make some inroads into this batting lineup. Try to put a bit of fear back into the opposition. Hamblin's looking strong. Even her defensive shots are being played with a high back lift with intent. Doing everything she can to make sure that Hauser can't settle. Cricket's at its best when batter and bowler are attacking each other. Oh. Didn't quite get the slow ball right, and yet still created the barest hint of a chance. Hauser thinking constantly. Clipped off the legs, doesn't beat the infield, and they decide against the run. So good control from Hauser in that over. It's 1 for 12 after 3. And with 1 over left in the power play, I'll remind you that the Power were 3 for 21 after 4. Power were not bowled out, so as I understand it, that means that it doesn't matter how quickly the Waveriders score their runs, they won't be eligible for a bonus point. That's what I've been told. Good ball from Sims. The turn meant that the shot didn't go where intended, and Harris did well at mid-on. Ball was travelling, but it's like a bowling green out here for the outfield and infield. Well directed, that should be 4 and is. Sims just not quite getting over the top of that one. Wrigley rolled the wrists on it and got the ball in between square leg and mid-wicket. So just the odd loose delivery hurting the Power at the moment. There aren't many, but the Waveriders are taking advantage of most of them. Sims right back on the money. Graham Strang sending his support to the Power. Thank you, Graham. Out wide, there's probably no run there. It won't beat McCartney at mid-off. So a lot has to go right for the Power, but As I repeat, they did this 24 hours ago. Outside edge. Sims drew the error, but may concede 4 anyway. Oh, as the Plovers attack the fielder at third, it's gone for 4. As there's nervous laughter in the outfield. I think that was Maisie Hauser who met the local wildlife. Push to leg, but there'll be no run. It's Brianna Craven swooped like a plover. There we go, I have my metaphor for the day. Everything is like a plover. Power play finishes. 1 for 20 for the Waveriders. So, actually 1 run fewer than the Power had at the same stage, but also 2 fewer wickets. Overall, you'd probably give the Waveriders a points victory as the umpire twirls the arm repeatedly until the score is acknowledged that the power play is over. The mark of a good umpire is how long you can signal a leg by before falling over or the score is acknowledged. My record was a minute. Yeah, I'm impressed. Hauser with really a perfect fast bowler's stock delivery. Landed on or just outside off stump. On a length that means it hits the off bail. If you can bowl that ball reliably and then bowl your variations around it, you're going to do well. So the variation not quite working, and most of those attempted slower balls from Hauser so far in this innings have either gone down leg or threatened to. So something to work on for her. There's clearly talent there. There's no question of that. Outside off, the cut didn't get all of the bat. The strain looks assured behind the stumps. Place for Ipswich where Kira Holmes has just left, so possibly more opportunities with the gloves for Strang in the Raymond Shield this summer. And that was a slower delivery that was tailing in towards Midland League. That's the best directed slower delivery that Hauser's bowled so far. Hamlin was confident. Didn't get the timing right on that occasion. She won't be bothered. And this time straying to the offside. As the wind picks up a little here, it's nothing like it was yesterday at Astley, which, given that we're significantly closer to the ocean, is meteorologically interesting. Good full-length delivery. Hamlin's showing her intent. She wants to go after the bowling. And she's into double figures. She's showing that when she connects, the ball fairly travels. But Hamlin's variation means she's just struggling for timing at the moment. Beautiful. That'll be 4. Pick the gap between cover and point. It was a slower delivery, a little bit shorter too, which meant that Hamlin could get over it. And she placed it absolutely perfectly. 1 ball remaining, couple of wides this over, so 1 for 26. Well done, thank you. Oh, I'll just kick the camera. I got it.
Good.
Yeah, that was me with my foot. And you've just returned in time for a wicket as Wrigley went for a shot outside off stump and dragged it on. So well done. Apologies for the loss of vision. Hopefully the scoreboard at the bottom of the screen has kept you informed enough. Been able to get that back. But the wicket has been taken as Sarah Walker back into the attack. Done extremely well to remove the dangerous Wrigley straight away. The new batter is Trinity Doyle, so a left-hander at the crease now. Wrigley had, as I typed in the chat, Wrigley had just been on top of Sims, driving her for 4 beautifully through long off. So the field for Walker to Doyle, the offside field is coming in, the leg side field is going back. So nothing particularly surprising, with the ball spinning in to the left-hander. Any loose deliveries are likely to be sent somewhere towards deep square bovine. Sincerest apologies for the screen problems. Didn't want you to miss anything, but the most significant thing you missed was the boundary. Walker to continue to Doyle. Respectfully played. Power still very much believing they're in this, primarily because they are. Doyle looking for ways to get off the mark, but hitting it to Titmarsh and then taking off for a run is not really the way to do it. Working that ball hard, Walker. Pushing it through a bit as well. Now, you probably saw Ashley Sims just miss that ball entirely as it was thrown to her. The sun is setting, which it does most days, but the sun is setting to the right of your screen, and so any fielders looking in that direction may have a few problems. Doyle, after a couple of false efforts earlier in the over, decided that maybe attacking Walker wasn't her first choice move. So 7 overs gone, 2 for 35, Walker with a breakthrough. Now the good news for tomorrow's finals matches is that because not as many cameras and batteries will be required, we can pretty much put all of our resources, at least for the women's competition, here. So with good luck and a following wind, we'll have an uninterrupted Brisbane Premier League, brought to you by Mazda, Under-19 women's competition final tomorrow. Olivia Clark. This is key point in the game. 4 for 18 yesterday. Absolutely to the win over the Marlins. May need something similar today to pull this one from the fire against the Waveriders. First ball, she beats the edge. some quality in this competition. Olivia Clark, first ball, not quite off bail bowling, but near enough. Slower ball Yorker. Well kept out in the end, actually. Taylor Hamlin's looked very assured at the crease. She's on 15. Trinity Doyle just faced the 3 balls last over. She's still settling. She has that time. Oh, dropped! Dropped. Clark got the outside edge. Strang moved to her right, and the gloves just wouldn't wrap around the ball. Clark settles her nerves with clapping the hands back and forward. As Andy Richards gives encouragement to his charges. Good delivery, beautiful fielding. Slight misfield, throw at the bowler's end. It's a bit wide, but the overthrows are cut off. So Hamlin gets on strike after the life. Clark looking for another opportunity. That short cover position is proving very useful. Titmarsh, sorry, that's Walker patrolling it at the moment. Olivia Clark. Never a chance. But good full bowling from Clark. That's a good first over. Just conceded the 1 run and a missed opportunity, but fielders have to put those sorts of things out as their mind. Change the future, not the past. 2 for 36 after 8 overs. 1 for 16 in the last 4. It was 1 for 20 at the power play. At the end of the power play. Walker to continue for reasons of obviousness and pragmatism. That looks close, that's out! It was a shorter delivery. Hamlin played back and then found the ball skidding onto her. And the umpire didn't have a lot of thinking to do. Superb bowling from Walker. Got it to skid off the pitch. It's an interesting match. We had a thriller first this morning. The second match was a bit more dominant for the Magic over the Pirates, and they had that wrapped up maybe halfway through the second innings. This match, don't you dare leave. 3 for 36. 1 ball in the 9th over. Hamlin out, Doyle already at the crease. And Grace Collins in at 5. Collins from the Sunshine Coast Club. And yes, another member of the Catherine Raymond Shield 50 over winning side. They're everywhere, they're everywhere. Cool heads required. For the most part, these players are teenagers. But if they can demonstrate that they know how to handle this situation, it's going to enhance their reputations enormously. Good ball from Walker. Some of them may not know how they go handling this situation. It's a big tournament. Playing Sometimes with unfamiliar teammates, they may be about to find out something about themselves. And Walker pulls out, no problem there. 25 minutes to 5. Shadows lengthening, sun getting low. Cricket from Walker, not the best directed shot. It's through the infield, heading out towards the point boundary, and it's gone. Calm batting from Collins, didn't try to hit it too hard. Got it through the gap, 4 runs the result. She pushes her cover a little bit squarer. Figures she's more likely to be hit more through point than through extra cover. Good delivery. Looked like it spun back towards middle. Put Collins in just a little bit of a bit of tension here, it's good. The punch off the back foot from Collins didn't have a lot of power in it. Field is mostly in, there's not a lot back. 2 on the leg side. Aggressive shot from Collins, but again off the inside edge of the bat and fielded at mid-wicket. End of a good over from Walker. Got the wicket. Doyle, mainly through lack of opportunity, is still yet to open her account. And Olivia Clark, who had Hamblin dropped in the last over, from a team perspective, it was barely a consequence. She now has Trinity Doyle to contend with. Clark looking to stay over the wicket to her. She sends Megan McCartney back to long on. There's also a deep square leg. Erin Moran's gone out there, I think. Clark moving that ball back in towards the left-hander. It looks like an in-swinger's action, but looked to me like she got a little bit of movement back into Doyle there. So again, just 2 fielders back. Wickman attacking. Just on leg stump. Doyle swept, didn't get all of it. Good single. So right-handed Collins on strike. And Clark impressing. Because I should have remembered she got away movement to get the edge off Hamblin last over. Leading edge, and there won't be a run. Well picked up in the gully by Sims. Doyle bowling with purpose. She knows exactly what she wants to do. Hit that off stump, off bail, get a bit of movement, create doubt. That was out of the back of the hand. Good fielding by McCartney. She batted with intent. The throw was at the feet of Clark, but apart from that, so the leg side field goes back to the left-hander. The offside field comes up. There do still look to be only 2 players outside the circle. Wickman's intelligent here. That looked to be above the waist. It has been called no ball. Back of the hand slow ball attempt from Clark. Didn't go as planned. now needs to demonstrate her ability to defend the free hit and look at the fielder who is throwing the ball to her. Doyle, meanwhile, where does she go? What spot has she spotted? Well, she's been bowled because she didn't actually spot a spot. She saw a ball and threw a bat at it. And the connection was dial-up quality. Yorker looked to be outside leg, possibly swung back. Little fumbles at square leg. Just turned a difficult one into an easy one. So we're halfway. 3 for 44. The power at the same stage were 4 for 45. Not a million miles away. Those 6 overs since the power play in this innings have yielded 2 for 24. The equivalent in the power innings, 1 for 24. But here's the difference. In the next 5 overs, the power, 3 for 12. If the power's going to have a chance of winning this, you would think that they would need to produce something similar. A flurry of wickets and a lot of control. Walker to continue from the railway end. Bowling to Doyle. Fielder's back on the leg side. Down leg side, pulled. The short fine fielder gets a hand on it. And sprinting round is Sims. So between them, Clark and Sims, beg your pardon, turned a possible 4 into a rush 2. But Doyle did well. Got enough bat on it to at least require some brilliance. Better ball from Walker, but it's pushed behind point for a single. Titmarsh fielded well. Actually, Sims calling out encouragement to Sarah Walker, saying, don't change your plans. Clearly trusts what she's trying to do. That's the kind of support that's always welcome to receive from a teammate. Walker to the right-handed Collins. That rushed on. Collins was looking to punch that through the offside. Suddenly found it was on her. A lot closer to her body than she thought. Cover driven, nearly found the gap, wasn't far away Collins. That's good intent. She knows no point in waiting back. Take the runs when they're there. Didn't get one then. She'll keep looking. Tries a similar shot, this time it's behind square. It's racing away, Sims is herring after it. She's very quick, but not quick enough to get this one. And Collins has a boundary behind point. Largely achieved through bat speed. Didn't place it where she wanted. But it's a big field, a lot of real estate to cover. So Walker concedes 4. And Sims moves a little finer. It's hit out to leg. And it wrong-footed Titmarsh. That's unfortunate. But a short ball. And Collins was onto it a flash. It fairly flew off the bat. And then when it hit the ground, it spun past Titmarsh. So 4 runs. And Grace Collins was looking to attack that over. Missed a couple of opportunities. Or maybe they weren't really opportunities. But as soon as 2 presented themselves, she was onto them. And already the 11th over for the Waveriders has produced 2/3 of the number of runs that were scored by the Power from overs 11 to 15. Good bowling from Clark. Indecision amongst the batters. And good fielding at backward square. Clark searching. Down leg on this occasion. There's a fair swing at the bat from Doyle. I suspect the fielder at backward square mistook the wish for an edge. Had an appeal. Clark is losing a line slightly. 2 balls down the leg side. 57, so 36 runs required. Sims encouraging Clark to keep it simple. Which seemed to work. Nice full delivery, little outside off, but the length meant that Doyle couldn't really get any power behind it. So on paper, it's an easy chase for the Waveriders, but it's not proving that way, and it's not in reality. Good ball, lovely straight drive from Doyle. It's beaten at least one fielder. McCartney chases, that's 4. Clark's been pitching it up, but Doyle was able to get that 1.5 volley. And lovely straight drive from Trinity Doyle. Which means that now that's 17 runs in the last 9 balls. Good work from Doyle, brilliant fielding. Annie Wickman put herself a bit closer in at mid-on. She does lead by example, Wickman, throwing her body about on that occasion. Right-hander on strike, so the ring forms on the offside. But only one fielder goes back on the leg. Wickman keeping it tight. Good ball from Clark. Gave himself a chance. Collins was good enough to get the bat down on it in time. .31 required. 49 balls. Sounds easy. Goes that variation. Good aggressive fielding from Walker. End of the over. Doyle and Collins have been impressive the last couple of overs. They've gone after even good bowling, just looking for opportunities. High back lift, looking to attack. If it goes straight to the fielder, that's okay, they'll wear that. Haven't lofted much. When they have, it's been confident. And apart from a couple of leg side deliveries from Clark that over, the bowling hasn't really dropped off. But there will be a change. The railway end. Forgive me, the bowler's just right behind the umpire. Wickman brings herself on, drops short, 4 runs. It just sat up around the hip, and Doyle was onto it in a flash. Just the last couple of overs, the Waveriders have made their move. And so far the Power haven't been able to keep up. Wickman decides to change the angle. She'll go round the wicket. She has fielders deep. The deep cover is now coming inside the circle. The deep third stays. The deep square leg is moving much finer. That looks like Sims. The deep square leg. The mid wicket stays short. Wickman to Doyle. And Doyle showing that if a defensive shot's required, he's not too proud to play it. But even there, plenty of bat, fairly scooted out to cover. Clever from Doyle, just guides that down to third where Clark has a good throw back into Strang. So Collins, she's on 13, Doyle 15. She's looked to attack. From memory, she played a key supporting role in that Raymond Shield final back in March, where Lucy Hamilton was the main run scorer, but Collins, I think it was her, provided good support. If anyone just happens to have the scorecard on them, you know, just drop it around. Good ball from Wickman. The appeal was hopeful, much too high, but she did cramp Collins for room. So well-directed delivery from Annie Wickman. She has played in development squads, Annie Wickman. We haven't seen the best of her in this tournament, but in grade cricket, you get the impression that if she were selected for higher honours, she wouldn't let anyone down. Probably more with the bat than the ball at that level. Well played from Collins. She guides that down to third. Sims is untroubled. Nice throw, straight to Strang. Strike being rotated well. 25 required. And 43 balls in which to do it. The last 2-3 overs have made things a bit more comfortable for the women in gold. Goodman pulls out of that one. 7 minutes to 5. It's a bit late because of the delayed finish in the previous match, which delayed the start of this match by about 25 minutes. Wide lofted. Oh, just past the outreached hand of Titmarsh. Good running sees Doyle return for 2. 3 for 70. The end of 13 overs. With 22 required. Be the fielding captain. Wickman's brought herself on. She's tried to spin with Walker. Felt Clark was possibly losing a bit of control. Persists with Clark. Right decision. Not time to panic yet. She knows that Clark can produce the goods. Hauser still has overs. And with 22 required, maybe it's time to bring them on now. Don't wait until there's only 2 or 3 required. So Clark to Collins. Just on the hip. Backward square. Run out chance on. Well run. Collins got just enough bat on that. Went nice and slowly to backward square. Only one fielder outside the circle, Wickman. Cleverly, not letting easy singles. Driven, straight to mid-wicket. Possibly the only change I'd make to Wickman's field. I think at this stage I'd have... The ring is there. The ring is good and defensive, but I would bring maybe one fielder on each side in just to stop the cheeky signals and maybe get a popped catch. Whacked by Doyle, missed time to the mid-wicket sweeper. Easily fielded by Aaron Moran. Took 2 wickets in an over yesterday and mercilessly dragged from the bowling crease. And Clark sends McCartney back to the boundary. Good drive from Collins. Superb fielding at cover. Wickman showing how it's done. Saying, women, this is the commitment I want. I'll show you. Go and do likewise. Fighting to the end. I suppose it's a bit hard to fight past the end. The outside edge is beaten for the first time in a little while. Clark hasn't stopped trying. Wickman's thinking hard. Clark just deals with a shoelace. Sims possibly being kept for the power play, which the Waveriders may elect not to take. They might say, well, we reckon we can finish this off by 18 overs. Let's not force where the field goes. Just straying onto the pads, clever from Doyle. And even with the speed of Hess in its square leg, Talia Hess, the single was always there. So 3 for 74, 19 runs required. A fair old whack of time in which to do it, 6 overs. Power surge is called. The Waveriders have decided that maybe they can end this sooner rather than later. As the call from Wade McDougall goes up, come on Waveriders. Depending on other results, they may even find themselves top of the table if they're able to win here. Had a stumble on Monday, had a perfect Tuesday. It's been a rather enterprising Wednesday for them. Excellent bowling effort. As the introduction of Lucy Williams sees the first ball sprayed down leg side. So Wickman rolling the dice. Needs to try something different. Looking for the key that unlocks this Waveriders batting lineup. And Doyle, she's been aggressive when she's needed to be. She's been cute when she's needed to be. Good chase from Sims. And then finished off by Craven. 2 to Doyle. 16 required. 35. This is the power surge. It's a deep mid-wicket. Might be all. There's bat on that, so it won't be called wide. Hit down the leg side. Sims with a big chase. It's got enough on it. It's good batting from Doyle. Saw it was down the leg side. Only needed a feather on it. That's pretty much what she got. I'm sorry, there's nothing funny about the match situation. Wade, I'm pretty sure that Belinda's pretty keyed up at the moment. And I'll do my best to let Belinda know you need milk. But I might suggest sending a text. Back to the match. Good bowling. Well done from Williams. Produced the Yorker when it was required. And I think Doyle has jammed down in her foot with her bat. It's just gone for a little hobble. She's been superb today, Doyle. Took 2 wickets in the power surge. The Powers innings was going slowly anyway. It had been strangled. And this took 2 wickets and 2 balls. Dismissed Lucy Williams, who's bowling now with the first ball. Good bowling from Williams, getting it to that Yorker length. And Doyle, I don't think she's broken the foot or anything horrible like that, but she did give the toe a good whack, and she's probably just wishing she hadn't given her toe a good whack. $12 required. Williams took a couple of balls to settle into this spell, or this over rather, but since she has, it's been very tight. Doyle on 25, coupled with her 2 wickets, she may even be able to sneak the Player of the Match award away from Meg Metten. Not her primary thought right now. Clever. Just a little bit of movement away from the left-hander, Williams. And Doyle wasn't able to connect. 12 runs required. And a whole 5 overs to get them. And 1 over of the power surge left. As Wickman rings the changes, Talia Hess, right arm medium from the clubhouse end. It's just ticked over 5 o'clock. This match, the start of this match, delayed by 25 minutes because of a delayed finish on another field in which the Gold Coast Waveriders were playing. 12 runs required. And Hess to Collins. Tight start from Hess. Command from Andy Richmond. Well played behind square. It's got a fair bit of speed on it. Craven's chasing and she does well. Keeps it to 2. Sorry, the cry from Andy Richards, the power coach, encouraging Talia Hess to bowl through the crease. Don't just stop at the crease. Make sure you carry your weight through it. Collins makes it 10 required off 28. Waveriders in control. They began the second half of this innings very positively. Collins and Doyle have been superb. That's gone low. That's out. Hess got one to stay low. Puts her hand to her head as if to say, how did that happen? I'll tell you how it happened. You bowled straight, kept it low, and Grace Collins, having done a lot of work to get the Waveriders very close to the total, has to depart with the end in sight. But I hope her teammates appreciate how valuable she's been. She was very positive right from the start of her innings, Grace Collins. She's clearly disappointed. The first person to vocally encourage her anyway is her coach Melissa Lewis, as her teammates join in. So Wickman's roll of the dice has worked. Talia Hess has a wicket. She looks quite chuffed, actually. The new batter is the captain, Julia Kavanagh. Bowls left arm, but bats right-handed. Tall, so tends to crouch very low. A long way over her bat, if you like. These last 10 runs. Full toss. And It's very casually swatted. Oh, it's gone through the legs. 4 runs. Emma Jackson not happy with herself. She can go through a whole season without doing that. And so 6 runs required. Kavanagh through the offside. Brilliant fielding. Excellent one-handed save from Craven at point. Kavanagh still got a single, but any thought of anything more than that was snuffed out with a brilliant diving save from Craven. Left-hander on strike. And scores will be level as Doyle cracks that to the mid-wicket boundary for 4. She moves to 29. It's been utterly brilliant from Trinity Doyle. The scores level. Hess finishes her over. She got the breakthrough. Was unlucky to concede 1-4 and then just lost control for another one. The power surge is over for what it's worth. With 1 run required, the Waveriders, mainly on the back of an absolutely superb economical bowling performance, took a lot of pressure off themselves with this chase, so even when the power got through them a bit early, they were able to take their time and work their way through any storm. But Collins and Doyle were superb through the middle overs. And now Ashley Sims is here for the last. Of course, Sims, she will look at this as scores level. I'm going to take 3 wickets and make you really earn this. She took 40 or so last season in the Raymond Shield. That's out! It was a full toss. Kavanagh was through her shot before it got there, played right over the top of it. There is no question that was heading straight for middle stump. Maybe Kavanagh played the situation rather than the ball. But Ashley Sims, and I love seeing a fielding team, when all seems lost, just refuse to give up until the last run is actually scored. Why stop there? Take another one. There have been 4 LBWs in this innings, and there's been no doubt about any of them. No interpretation required from the umpires. Sometimes you can look at a list of LBWs and think, maybe they're a bit generous. No, you cannot watch the replays of any of those dismissals and think they were anything other than out. So Bridget Peden from Ipswich, excellent fielder, needs 1 run, but she needs to score it against the best bowler of last year's first grade comp. For 1 moment, edged it, and the winning run's been scored. Peden's done what she needed to do. And with 3.5 overs remaining, the Gold Coast Waveriders have won. They may have secured the minor premiership with that victory. Trinity Doyle remains not out on 29. She's played a superb hand as well as her 2 for 9 off 4 overs with the ball. The scorecards will flash up on your screen shortly. And you'll see that after a few wobbles during the innings from the Waveriders rather, it was Collins and Doyle who were absolutely superb through the middle overs, put on an excellent partnership. And whereas the power innings wasn't able to get going, McCartney and Titmarsh tried very hard, but they just couldn't get the ball away in overs 11 to 15. The Waveriders found a way, mainly through Doyle and Collins. And they've emerged the victors. 4 straight victories now for the Waveriders. In fact, I need to check that. I don't know what the result was really this afternoon. But they've had a very good week. And without having the table in front of me, I would expect the Waveriders to be in. I don't know for certain that the Power are out. Any team that can beat the then top of the table team in the Marlins probably didn't do too badly. So the Power were good enough to take 5 wickets. Doyle 29 not out. Collins made 18, but didn't waste a lot of time. The wickets were shared. As the coaches enjoy a laugh with the umpires. The Brisbane Premier League, brought to you by Mazda. Under 19 women's competition. The round robin is over. Please check the BrisbanePremierLeague.com website. In fact, check them on social media. Probably the first place you'll find details of the draw for tomorrow is on Facebook or Instagram following Brisbane Premier League. Not BPL, type out the whole thing. Otherwise you get the Bangladesh Premier League. Very awkward. But the draw for tomorrow's semi-finals and finals will be out. 8 o'clock tomorrow. Please join us for the battle between second and third. At 11 o'clock it'll be first versus fourth. And then the final starting at 2 o'clock. I don't even know what's happening with Super Overs if it comes to that, so I better find out the rules before tomorrow. But thank you so much for your company today. I hope you enjoyed a splendid day's cricket here at the Peter Burge Oval in Redlands, the home of the Redlands Cricket Club. And I look forward to your company for finals day tomorrow. This is the Brisbane Premier League brought to you by Mazda. This tournament belongs to the players. It belongs to you, the friends and family, and the fans. And I'm very humbled to be a part of it. See you tomorrow. We may as well talk because anyone still watching is probably hoping for little tidbits from the people hanging around the camera.
That's it.
So forgive me, what was the problem during the innings there? What had happened?
Sorry, Dan, I'm just on a phone work call. All good here, I'll just back up.
No worries. I'm just going to head off, that's all.
Beautiful. Thanks for your help.
No worries.